transplants have been successful? None. To date. The body always, over a period from 6 to 8 weeks, I mean, they can keep coming back in and get a boost up and keep coming back and get a boost up, but they don't go back. It's not like they can put a new heart in and you can walk away and that's it, and everything's perfect. No. Because around where the alien organs meet with yours, it always becomes infected, and rejection starts the same way. Like I mentioned years ago, if I inject my blood into you, even if we have the same blood type, your blood within 6 to 8 weeks will overthrow my blood and rebuild your blood cells. That's just natural. So now when a man is with a woman and he ejaculates into her, her body immediately sees this as an alien invader of blood. The same way anemia or lupus happens, your blood says, what the heck is that? And your blood starts attacking alien blood cells that your body produces in lupus disease. Your brain will produce defected blood cells through your marrow. And the white corpuscles don't know that it produces defective ones when it sees it as alien, and that's what anemia is. Your own blood cells go out after, and that's where lupus comes from. It goes to defend itself. Well, the woman has that inside her system, and when it sees this tadpole, this reptilian in its body, it goes out actually to destroy it, thus adding to the ancient Egyptian mystery about chaotic waters. That all life came out of chaotic waters. That chaos is that when that sperm gets there, the woman's body is like, I'm going to kill it. And that's why it has to race and get inside of the egg, and the egg will close around it and seal it as a protection. And then it creates a sac and sends in fluids. And that's why you see a biathlete kid, the mother could be starving, the baby still comes out healthy. And then becomes sickly after it gets born. You look at people in countries like Ethiopia where people are starving to death, yet the woman is still having a healthy pregnancy. The doctor said the pregnancy is perfect. The baby is delivered healthy. Only time it becomes dangerous when the mother got some type of blood disease, some type of, but if it's just starvation, the baby will drain everything it can from the mother and come out healthy. That's a defense mechanism that takes place in the human body. To prepare you that men and women are by nature going against each other. Thank you very much. You follow what I'm saying? They know these things now, but like I said, they developed them because they have come to the conclusion and have made it public that human beings have the power to grow their own bones. It was on the news the other night. Reanimation. Also, they grew air on a rat, human air. I showed the pictures of it. We got someone on the videotapes I put out. They have a human air they grew on a rat. They're reanimating tissues. Now, years ago, when I said to people that the reason why we as Nuwapians keloid is because when we were gods, we could grow ourselves, and that's why they made the statement, the Greeks took it, that Ra masturbated and created himself. And what they were really trying to say is that he had the power to split his own cell, and that cell is nothing but a daughter cell. Once a one-cell animal that has the protein in it enough to split and make two cells and then multiply into a living thing. That's what they were saying. The ancient gods had the power to create themselves. They were talking about the germination in the dolphin. Everybody hears about the dolphin. Have you ever looked up the word dolphin to find out what it means? Huh? Dolphin means womb. The fish, the dolphin, the word means womb, like the womb of a mother. Right? And what's that word? Thank you. You always correct me on that word. Vital fertilization. That's when you take the cell of one animal and put it into another in order to transport it to someplace else and then remove it and re-inject it for artificial insemination for cloning or procreation. Or not procreation, reproduction. Thank you. Procreation happens when those two things are now on this planet together and they can come together and do it themselves. So the ancient masters that transported you here, they did it in a dolphin. That's why it's called the dolphin, the womb. They took the seeds there on Mars and injected in the dolphin. And then they transported the dolphin here to the seas while the seas here were still incapable of supporting your kind of life because they were boho and toho, void and darkness. And thus you lived in the waters first. Then the gods came to check on you. And the spirit or the wind or the breath of God moved upon the face of the waters. They came after you had already been placed in the water and watched them germinate and then remove those cells after they had altered this and built the great city of light. Thus the gods said, let there be light. And the great city of light was the city of Ur of Chaldea. The word light in your Hebrew Bible where it says let there be light is Ur. The same word used for Ur of Chaldea. But in Chaldea is where those what lived? Reptilians lived. And they bred you with them. That was for survival. Those of you that had large enough gills when the flood came, you died right in the water. Human beings, some of them taken into caves and caverns on the planet Earth to survive. And others died. Reptilians also died. And that's why they say, well, one of the oldest living animals on the planet, mammals, are crocodiles, right? Turtles, frogs, and they say Ra or Re had the power to transform himself into frog, alligator. So you'll find alligator deities in Egypt. See a man stand there, he's a man, then he has an alligator tail and an alligator's mouth. Over there. Right? Those were your primordial parents. The reason why they call them primordial, listen to the word. Prime means what? Primordial. First. That's the same thing like primitive. When they call you primitive, they're not insulting you, they're complimenting you. Primitive means prime. Primitive, the best piece. They say, give me the prime piece of steak. Right. No fat. Tammuz a fat. When they did this science, and I could give you a list of Egyptian titles, names, it fall right in place. When you see how Geb, Nut, Nia, Nun, all that. Nun was that port, and Nun as found in the Quran, is the whale. Nun. It said Nun wa kalama wa ma yasturun. Remember that one? Yeah. And they have a letter there. Amongst the letters, it just says Nun. You ask the Muslim, what does that Nun mean? They go. The Nun represented the Egyptian deity Nun, which is the male of the female part, Nuit. You follow that? Part of the 8 families of that breed, which you give out in time. Right? You see them in one of the books, but in time I'll make it clear. And it represented the whale, and the dolphin is a whale, a mammal who once walked on land. They proved. Well, the dolphin and the whale from the same family. Yeah, they're all the same family. They once walked on land. Dolphins can speak, can communicate, they think, they rationalize. Follow? These beings had a transported you, they became the fish god. The reptilian people worship them. Dagon, mermaids, man-maids, these were their gods. And that's why they had the original symbol of Christianity was a fish. And then you had the ancient Egyptian deity of Satan. His name is Apep. A-P-E-P, or Papus. You ever read about him before? The same thing is Pope. Same thing as Pope, and that's why he wears again the fish. And all of the symbols you'll find fish and all the seals around the country. The fin of the fish, which they make it look like a flower. These are all part of them acknowledging the reptilian gods who came here. Before they came here, the Neteru or Anunnaki, Neteru in Egypt, Anunnaki in Sumeria, bred a being, a gray, who could go from planet to planet because they could survive an atmosphere that you couldn't. And you was predestined to be what they refer to as the Adama Project, right? Ruled by these three higher deities, Atun, and Amun, who are symbols of the Ray principle, which is the rainbow project again, atmosphere, an animal that lives, a sea creature that lives out the water, is what you really are. You follow that? Well, these people, they had to create this species of grays first because they would scout things out for them. And that's what they're calling the Adam Project. And that's the face they find or have found on Mars. It's a replica of the Adam. Adam was also from Kuthite seed, who also descended out of reptilians and from the Sirius star constellation. The word Sirius, which is Sept, like the first three letters in September in ancient Egypt, right? S-E-P-T. That's the Egyptian way of saying Cyrus. Cyrus in the language you use is biblical for Hiroshima, which is hairy. Cyrus, look it up. And it represents the hair. You didn't have hair on your body at one time, as we said. No reptilians have hair on your body. You became a reptilian with hair. If you go back in Egypt, you see they didn't have any hair. But the shaggies, as they were called, were big. And they were with the troglodytes. So if you look up the name Mount Seir, where the Edomites were, in your Bible, and go in, I'm quite sure most of you have a computer, go to Mount Seir, you're going to see troglodyte in there. And then look up the word Seir, like in Esau or Esau, and you'll see Eri. And so you're looking at reptilians who grew here, a new species. Human beings. A product of the gods, a replica of themselves. Some were put here for labor, some were put here for reproduction. Those who put here for labor are workaholics. Those who put here for reproductive purposes are just lazy. And you do find that amongst us. People that work and people that just refuse to goddamn work regardless of what you say is just a bum.
That's right.
It's true. They were not given the gene to want to work. They're bums. If they could get away with doing nothing but sitting out looking at television and eating, that's exactly what they would do. It's sad, but it's true. Some people were created to be buffers for aggression. These people are your clumsy people. They're supposed to die. They're supposed to fall out of fucking planes. It's in them, because you see people do things like, why are you doing this shit? You're stupid as hell. Why are you loading the gun and looking down the barrel and shit? You walk over there. You know, these people do that, they get shot by their own gun. Everybody like that. And you're mad at him for being dumb. He was bred to be dumb. I mean, the way they would fight, if Ramesses was fighting the invasion Hittites, he would send a fleet of, this is sad, he would send a fleet of retarded people in uniforms. And all these retarded people with uniforms. You see this army of retards, they would get this how they would get rid of all of the people in their kingdoms with Down syndrome. They didn't bother trying to cure them. Now this shouldn't offend anybody, but it does, you must have Down syndrome. But they would send them out front. And while the Hittites see the army in the uniforms and the chariots probably going in the wrong direction, someone riding upwards, but they would attack them. And while they're engaged in fight with them, Ramesses would circle come in. They didn't care how many of the what do you call it? The Hittites, they didn't care how many of the retards died because they was a burden to what they would consider a healthy society. Now that sounds cruel to you. But if you had to run a retarded school, you'd be figuring out how to send them to war. So. But in that process of taking that mammal and mixing it with that reptilian, they've had defective genes. And this is why some of the most, let's think about this here. Most of the minor, I'm trying to do it without giving it away. I'll just say it. Most, because I can't do the word. Most of the sicknesses or illnesses that humans have are surface ones. The worst are skin diseases, cancer, almost all of it are warts. It always attacks the skin. You follow? And it starts working its way. They'll say, well, what's wrong with your body? You're nervous, and that's why your skin is breaking out. You know, your doctors will tell you, well, you have acne because you're having nervous problems. But it's always from the skin. Why? Because when they had to combine the reptilian and the mammal, the scale and the flesh didn't work. Well, so you look at your hand, you don't see skin, you see pores. And if you look down close enough, you see it's shaped like little scales. You just, in between those scales is where the hair grows out. Now look at your hand right around here. You see them little diamond-shaped things? Well, snakes have this diamond-shaped things on their back. That's scales. But your scales are soft. And that's why they've always had a problem with, does a shrimp have scales? Or is it a shell? And I would tell them, a shrimp has scales. If it was a shell, the whole thing would be covered like a crab is inside of a shell. A turtle is inside of a... Look at it again. Look at a turtle again. A turtle's inside of it. It has scales. Its back is broken up into sections. Over time, they've hardened, but you look at it, you're seeing, you're not looking at a shell. Now go back and look at a crab again. Now look at a lobster. A lobster is part shell and part, there's a metamorphosis here. There's scales with hairs going between them, and that was a combination of the mammal and the reptile that you are. So within inside of you and the people that surround you, which is getting to the point, I know y'all travel a long way, in the sun is setting, now appears to set, right? There are disagreeables. There are seeds of Cain, and there are seeds of the reptilians that survived the flood. This is the message to bring back amongst you. You follow that? These people are starting to come surface now, the same way the God in you is starting to express itself. The demon in them are starting to express itself. You're going to find people in your tab just bugging out, cursing everybody out for no apparent reason. Nobody can't be a nigga that lost their mind. Me and you been friends all this time. All of a sudden, nothing I do is right. What is making your nature rebel against me all of a sudden? You had guys you hung out with, you're your buddies. And all of a sudden, you're the enemy. You're like, I can't recollect exactly what I did. But if you can't recollect what you did to a person, they just seem to turn on you all of a sudden, it's because one or the other doesn't mean necessarily them, you know. One or the other of you is having an internal transformation as we're turning ourselves inside out by aligning ourselves. You got to understand that when I say we have to turn ourselves inside out, I was also taking into consideration that some of the people here who were with us were demons inside, waiting to come out. And while they were hanging out with us, as long as we stop off and get a soda, as long as we walk and I play the music in the car that they want. But you ever tried changing? And that's why you get that statement, everything seems to be all right as long as I'm doing everything the way you want. How come soon I want to do one thing a different way? There's a big, you know, going to a restaurant. Where we want to go? You know what I mean? I want to go to a Captain D. Oh, I feel like going to Mexico. Why the hell you ask me where I want to go if you already know? Where you plan on going? You say I want to go see the movie. What movie you going to see? You know what I'm saying? You say I want to go see so-and-so. You say, well, I want to go see so-and-so. Tell you ask me what I want to see. Well, if you know damn well you already made up your mind what you're going to see. That's the first stages of it. And it only grows and gets worse. And best friends and lovers become enemies. Because you are not supposed to be brought together. Because it says, whomsoever the Yahweh or the Nib, that's the Hebrew word for Yahweh, Nib, brings together. If you brought yourself together, and you didn't go before the priesthood of men, the fertility deities, so they can tell you by looking at your calibration, are y'all compatible? If you didn't do that, then you're going to have to live with whatever comes out of that relationship. And most people don't do that. They go out and find somebody they are attracted to. Someone who has something they like a big booty. And that's what they base it on. Not on the person's personality, not on the family, the genes, the nature of the person. They say, let's just socialize for a little while. See what kind of person you really are. And see how you react when I say things you don't like. And now, when it comes down to turning oneself inside out, what's inside there starts to come to the surface. Our relationship might not work no more. We might become enemies. When we were once lovers, we were once best friends. It doesn't have to be male and female. It could be best friends, associates. It could be, you know, father and son. All of a sudden, I don't understand you. Who are you? You literally say that. All of a sudden, what are you? Who are you now? Where is the person I met before? What'd you do to my friend? What'd you do to my husband? What'd you do to my wife? Where's she at? I know I see the body's there, but the hell, that's not her. What'd you do? Kill her? Did you walk in or something? That you be looking for a better solution than that. You transformed into the devil. You don't want to say that. See, like so you start off by saying, our relationship is changing. Something's wrong. That's how it starts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel different. You know what I'm saying? And she said, what? You got somebody else? That's her mind. Always. First line. What? There's somebody else? Yeah, somebody else. The real person I like. And here, I don't know who this person is. This is somebody else. You, the new you. You know what I mean? I'm saying in your transformation period, you got to take that in consideration. Your love life is going to change. Your outlook on love is going to change. Who you love is going to change. Who you like is going to change. You're going to start seeing the real ugly side of people. And when you get that inclination, please don't get mad at me, because whenever I tell the truth, people get mad at me because I can lie. I'm going to tell you the truth. You get that inclination, get the hell out. Don't wait until it gets dangerous. If you sense there's something wrong, that person does not do the right thing. I like him, I like her. They do not do the right thing. You better get the hell out while you can. I'm not telling nobody to break up your relationship. Don't blame that shit on me, because I'm not in your house. I don't know what's going on. But like Bob Marley said, the hat fits, goddammit. Let them wear it. You know what I'm saying? If you see it now, you better run while you can. Because they're going to transform. Human beings are transforming. Some back towards, I told you years ago about ascending and descending beings. Some are going back towards demons. And they will put the role on. They will flatter you. When they see you begin to question them, they'll go buy you that box of candy, figuratively speaking. You know what I'm saying? They'll suggest that thing you want to do. They'll flatter your ass when they see you starting to see through their crack. Because they must keep people under control. That's what renders one of God. Control. And God does not have to be good. I said that. I said whoever or whatever is in control is God. When a man rules the relationship to the point where the woman has no real say-so, he becomes God. And there's only one thing opposite to God, the devil. And eventually, anytime she rebels against him, he will come down on her, or vice versa, as if he's talking to a devil, yelling and screaming and cursing and, because you're now wrestling against the principalities of darkness.
Cain, okay, since the flood with Noah, how did Cain's seed survive after the flood with Noah? Who did they come through?
Because Cain went where?
Cain went to the land of Nod.
And what was there?
The
reptilians, Cuthites. That was a city of all wicked people, and the rulers there was Dagon.
Oh, so when the flood came, they lived.
They survived because they are sea creatures. That's right. The Komodo dragons survived. That's what I would find funny about God. God destroys everything but the fish.
Right. Because I remember you saying that.
Maybe he likes fish.
You had said we was tumbling jeans. As when you told us we're tumbling jeans, going back to before, if you kind of through your day that you feel you could actually sense that happening, is it like?
That's good. You said that.
Is it like when a person when they're having a baby, can they is that the point when they can stop?
No, you can. The reason why the ancient ones created prayer, and they set prayer at specific times, is at the heights. If I can see, that's why Islam came with the 5 prayer. Prior to that, they had 3 prayers: sunrise, high noon, and sunset. They was doing that with the 3 changes, the tumbling of the human body. That's the 3 points for your body goes. The meanest you are is in the morning. That's your emotion. The next stage is high noon because of the heat.
Right.
And then in the evening you tend to be more tranquil because whatever you had to do is over. You know, you think about a dinner, movie, or television in bed. You know what I'm saying? Until the next day. So they set prayer around your tumbling genes, your emotional changes. And that's why in Tafur we pray at sunrise or whenever you get up. You know, it's not where in Islam says you better be up at 5 o'clock. Hell, that's gonna make you mad at Allah. I'm tired, Allah. I feel like getting up with cold water in my nose in the middle of November. You know, and no front as a Muslim used to be mad as I was. And I was Imam and I was mad as ass. Like, I'm trying to do this. I'm getting up in the morning staggering and shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Missing the prayer rug and falling asleep and moving. But I realized that was the devil, another one of the devil's religions. That was to make you mad at God. It's because that's what Islam does. It makes you mad when Ramadan. Don't eat. Put me in a city where there's food. People are walking by, especially in Ramadan, look like niggas are walking by with sandwiches now. It's made to make you mad. If you look at all the restrictions, it takes away from your divinity expressing itself by being in control of yourself. So we say, pray at sunrise or when you get up. But there's times that you want to get up early in the morning, you feel very spiritual, and you want to, and then the other times I'm tired. And you get up at 10 o'clock, say, shall I make my top full now? Make it between the noon, we have a whole cycle up there. So somewhere between this area, I can't do it. If you can't do it, you just can't do it that day. Nobody go, you ain't going to shoot it. You done lost 7 barakats here. You got to think in Islam like you lose points if you miss Salah. Oh shit, you missed 4 barakats. You definitely going to hell. You know? So that's the difference. But your body, you know your emotional changes. You know what I'm saying? And remember, as you get older, male and female, you get more cranky because you're looking down the road of reality. And the road of reality is, I'm really going to die, huh? That's the road of reality. I'm going to die. You realize you're getting old. It's not funny no more. You can't run as far as you want to. You can't do all the things you wish you could do. And then you realize all the shit. When you was a kid, when people was telling you to stop trying to grow up so fast, nigga, and go live a child's life, and like, you was so young girl, so busy trying to put toilet paper in there and shit, and trying to grow up, walk around with it. And your people said you better keep your child. What they say, stay a child as long as now you're as too old to be a child. You're like, shit, I wish I would have listened and played more Monopoly and more Skellies and rode little bikes more and went up. But no, I wanted to hang out with the girls and get permed and go to parties, look for boys, and you know what I mean? And you chunked out, you took a big chunk out of your life that you cannot get back. You can mess around in youth and act like an old person, but you can't mess around in old age and act like a youth. You know what I'm saying? You see a little kid can go act like an old person, go. Right. Let me see an old man get on a track and run around there 5 times. He'd be dead in the motherfucker. It doesn't work that way. So, the reason why older people appear to be more cranky and more moody is because of the realization. All you people are still beneath 30. You haven't come to the realization yet. When you get to 40, then you start saying, "I'm gonna die, huh?" You really every now and then think, "Ooh, God." You know, right now you young people you probably haven't even thought of that yet. You say to yourself, "But one day I'm gonna die." But when you get 40, you be saying, 40, 50, 60, shit, 20 years from now I'll be dead, or not, I should be dead, I don't be able to do nothing. And that haunts you periodically, and that makes you pretty cranky. With people, especially young people. That's why I say old people don't like young people, because we look at you as, you're wasting all your life. Sitting around being an old person instead. I used to tell young couples, go have some fun and shit. You know what I mean? The idea of going to have fun and go to a party with 1 million other people. I'm saying, you and your wife go somewhere to be together, walk together, do something together. My life, I'm always around people, so I've learned, I just give up on being alone. But in most cases, you got a chance to, these two guys to develop a relationship, as I call it, to create a box of jewels. Jewels that your ass gonna need when you get older. If you don't have some beautiful things to reflect back on, talking about, when you and your wife start having them clashes, if you don't have no beautiful things to look back on, things that y'all did together, them little things. I mean, even if it's just looking over Niagara Falls without the desire to push anybody, but just looking together, you know what I mean? Those things. If you don't store those things up, when those winds of life come, you don't have nothing to keep your relationship from just getting uprooted and pulling away. It happens every day. You know what I'm saying? With age is going to affect you a great deal. As you get older, you start becoming a monster, and most women push people away from them, and they don't know it. They're like, I don't know why no man don't want me. It's not that no man don't want you. Your women's moods change so much as they get older, it's hard to tolerate them. I mean, they're saying the same thing about us. Men's mood change, it's hard to I can only speak from toleration as a male. I can't speak from toleration as a female because I can't imagine what she's thinking. But as a man, I know part of our problem with women is as they get older and they don't want to face that they can, that they're what they consider losing their youth. They think, they've got themselves through media thinking all beauty is in youth. And that's bullcrap. Beauty is not in youth. That's a psychological profile created for marketing. Because they sell more stuff to young people. When I go buy a pair of socks now, I don't just sit up there. I wear white socks all the time. I ain't going to bother with no black socks to get athlete's feet. Now I worry about another problem. I was go get them. But years ago, man, you well said, shit, that's Ty Lopez and socks. I said, selling this is match. Everything is matching. Meanwhile, I got getting athlete's feet. As you get older, you don't really care. And sometimes I go to the closet or the drawer to get a sock and I say, damn, this damn socks. Shit, they both white. When I was young, I never would have did that before. They had to be the same sock. I would have went outside and went and bought some socks and came back. You know what I'm saying? You do change. You put less value on things.